Yeah. Come and never sleep on me. I some change 숙여 너의 고개를 what you looking at fool 너의 눈 허리 멍청했고 find your comfort from another yeah. I go low like undercover yeah. Wanna know my name 죽지 않은 일은 위에 부어버려 이름 guess you can even guess me cause I'm baby high low로 확실해 not like maybe Devil let me welcome to my palace 찾지 않아 Alice you just keep on wonder You just keep on wonder 찾지 않아 Alice 버려 너의 memory I just pop a bin Danny have been 나는 걸어 Boeing 747 날개 위
What's up, everybody? For your ears only, I'm Jonathan Lonham, or should I say Jonathan for your eyes only Lonham. And I'm going to look over to my boy Colton, the Living Daylights Flat.
Hey, everybody. I'd like to hand it off to my boy Caleb, the Casino Royale parody Mabry.
Hello, everyone. I have nominated a movie as my nickname, I guess, even though I've never seen it. Well, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through.
Wow.
I've never seen it either, but like you guys are Bond fans, so this is different.
All right, so here's my only experience with that movie. I saw it on the shelf at like the checkout line at Kroger.
Yeah.
And I was like, Dad, look, Casino Royale, you know, they finally made it or whatever. They made it a movie. And I took it home and I put it in my PlayStation 2. It was not what I expected.
I imagine that was pretty alarming when you saw it.
Yeah. So I might have seen 30 minutes of it.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to do it whenever we get done with the main series. I want us all to watch it, and then we can go over it. But the main thing we're here today for is 7th Bond movie. And before we get to that, if you're listening to this, like, subscribe, share, comment, do all that stuff, all right? So anyway, the 7th Bond movie, Diamonds Are Forever. So I'm going to go ahead and I want each of y'all to give me like just 2 or 3 words to sum the movie up, because I'm about to tell you a little story about Diamonds Are Forever and me. So Colton, you first.
Diamonds, it was okay. I don't hate the movie. There were parts I really enjoyed it. And man, there's one shot. I'll get to it when we get there. I actually love the way Sean looked. I thought it was really cool. I feel like it's like my in-head like send-off to his Bond. And I'll bring that up when we get there. I will say that I think there's a better impromptu diamond heist later in the series.
Okay. Caleb?
Well, you said to sum it up in 3 words, and the 3 words that came to my mind was fun to watch. That's about all I can give this movie. And to touch on what Colton said, even though Sean has visibly aged a lot since You Only Live Twice, he looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks good. Like,
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
Yeah, this movie it's one to think about just in terms of how much Connery has aged since 1967? Is that when You Only Live Twice? I believe that's when it was.
That sounds right.
Yeah, in 4 years, I've always thought he aged a lot just in those years. I mean, compared with a movie that came out not even 9 years ago, Dr. No. I mean, think about the way Connery was in Dr. No and compare him.
Oh, dude, he was built.
There was 9 years of difference there. So not too long. I really do think Connery looks.
Yeah, Dr. No versus Diamonds Are Forever. And Dr. No, his appearance was, I would describe it as more chiseled.
Yes.
Like his facial structure and all that. And just, I mean, his body alone looked great because he was coming off bodybuilding. So he looked like really, really good.
Looks kind of like a swimmer to me in that. Like his right here.
Uh-huh.
Just like really, really fit in that.
And Dr. No?
Yeah. Yeah,
I can say that.
Yeah.
So a little backstory. I'll be straight with you. Diamonds Are Forever. is one of the movies that has come up. Honestly, out of all the Bond movies, it's probably the movie that has come up the most with me. Because this used to be my least favorite movie. It used to be just bottom of the barrel. Did not like this movie at all. Nowadays, like if I'm ever just sitting around the house, with my wife and my stepdaughter, and sometimes she'll be like, "Let's watch a Bond movie." Nowadays, Diamonds Are Forever is one that I'll put in. It's just, I think it's to build on what Caleb said. It is definitely fun to watch, but it used to be my absolute favorite. So I want to discuss a few things with you before we get started. So originally, apparently, Diamonds Are Forever originally was going to be your boy George Lazenby's movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the original plot was him getting revenge for the death of Tracy. Okay? So that obviously didn't happen. So instead of a revenge movie, we get like the campiest, like goofiest. I've always thought this movie is a comedy and not a real espionage movie.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
To sum up Diamonds Are Forever in one word, and I don't use this as derogatory. I mean, I don't use this as like negative, okay? And it's going to sound really negative, but sleazy. I've always thought this movie is one of the most sleazy movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Like, and you know what? I'm fine with that because it revels in it. Like, I mean, Diamonds is it knows what it is. And I like that.
Accepts it. Like,
I mean,
100%.
We got James Bond shacking up with girls in Las Vegas, then laying there with a cigarette ashtray on his stomach, I mean, that's not sexy or glamorous. That's like I just bought a hooker and I'm hanging out at a motel. You know what I mean? And then we got the moon buggy chase, and we just got all that stuff, and it's just so crazy. People always dog on Roger Moore for being the, campy, goofy Bond, but like Connery started that, and here it is. You know what I mean?
I can tell this is where they really kind of tested the waters of the campy-esque movie style.
So once they realized they weren't going to make a follow-up to On Her Majesty's Secret Service, they were like, well, we got to get Connery back. So they get Connery back, and they're going through different plot ideas. And the main thing that they were trying to replicate in this movie, they were trying to move off from George Lazenby's On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
The more dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to go back to basically Goldfinger. They're trying to replicate Goldfinger with this. They went and got Goldfinger's director, Guy Hamilton, they got him. They got Shirley Bassey, to do the song, just like Goldfinger had.
Great song, by the way.
Yeah, most definitely. And they also, one of the original plot ideas for this movie was to have it was Goldfinger's brother was the bad guy.
Yep.
In it.
Yeah, I actually did happen to read that.
That would like straight up be like literally Goldfinger 2 over here.
I don't know had they gone with that if it would have saved it from the campiness, because they probably would have leaned into it just as hard, honestly.
That I don't know, just something about it makes me think that might be a little bit campier. Who knows?
Oh yeah, it could. I mean, potentially yes, and it probably would have been. But interesting idea. I don't think we've ever seen.
I don't think we've ever had a brother or sister to a main villain.
The closest thing we get to that is, well, we'll save that for the movie, because I've got a lot to say about that too. But continue, please.
So I would say that the guy that plays Blofeld in this movie, I would believe him more as Auric Goldfinger's brother than Blofeld. Like, I think.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense for the casting for me a little bit.
I'll be straight with you. So one thing I want to say about Blofeld in this movie. See, Blofeld was not originally in the novel. So Diamonds Are Forever is the fourth Bond novel, okay? Blofeld Inspector wasn't even created at that point in the novel timeline.
Right.
The original Diamonds Are Forever book, and I know that Colton, I know you have you read it, Caleb, or
Diamonds Are Forever. I don't think so.
I've
So-
not
I
read
don't think so.
have you read it, Colton?
No, not yet.
All right,
I'm
I'm not
free out of
gonna
work.
spoil the book for you then, but the bad guys in it are two Italian mafia guys, like gangsters.
I did know that, but not from reading it. So the fact that man, that makes no sense. Like it, it seems like the whole idea of this movie is to stray away from On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So why don't you stay true to the novel in that regard?
Well, I think it all went back to like the reason why they put Blofeld here. I've always thought was probably because they had the rights to use Blofeld up to a certain time, and then Kevin McClory had the rights to use it, and I think that's probably why they put him here. But this is going to be the last time we see Blofeld for quite a while. Like,
Well, I'm totally okay with that, with the way I saw him in this movie. I was like, I didn't need to see that. So
I'm gonna say one more thing, and then we'll get started on the actual movie, because I feel like a lot of our ideas right now are all stemming from the actual movie itself. So we probably just need to go ahead and get started. But like, I'm gonna leave you with this on Blofeld, Colton. The movie series, like, okay, I used to love Blofeld. Used to be one of my favorite villains, and then I read the books and saw the book Blofeld, and then I started thinking, like, man, even back in the old days, they never knew how to do to actually put Blofeld on the screen. They never really did his character like he really was.
Yeah.
And if you guys read the novels of Blofeld, I mean, maybe you can see what I'm trying to get out of that. But well, all right, well, let's go ahead and start out. So one thing I want to bring up right off the bat, the gun barrel of the movie, it's got that same like
Sparkly effect. Yeah.
pearl effect. This is the last time we'll ever see that as well. And we get to our first scenes, the pre-title sequence. So we see Bond basically throwing people into pieces of furniture and beating people and all of that, trying to figure out where Blofeld is. And then we get, Bond does the thing with her bikini where he chokes her. Like it really looks like Bond is having Connery is just having a little bit too much fun.
you got something to get off your chest.
That was something that I was actually going to comment on when we brought up Sean. It does appear that he is having a really good time. Just like you can tell, and maybe this was all his idea, or maybe this was a note given to him. But he's having a lot of fun. Like he's just not taking it seriously. Seems like.
Yeah, I mean, if as much as I love You Only Live Twice, if you can compare the way Connery is in that one to the way he is in this one, he really looks like he's enjoying himself like a lot more.
He is a lot more present in this one, whereas in You Only Live Twice, every time he's on screen, he just looks like he doesn't want to be there.
Colton, what do you have anything to say about that?
I mean, I understand what you guys are saying, and I pretty much agree. I do think he was just having fun here, because like, as cringy as that was, like, he sells it.
Yeah.
Like I believed it. Like, and it was cringy. I'll say it kind of sets the tone for the movie for me. That and the horrible, horrible dubbing of him, like with that Asian man. He's like, he's in Cairo.
Yeah, that stuck out to me too. I remember maybe it was the last time I watched it. I knew that before the scene was coming up, and when I finally saw it, I was like, that wasn't so bad, but for some reason this time, maybe it's because I was watching the 4K version. Like, it is so obvious. It is so obvious. There's also, I don't think this is dubbing. I think they just sped up the film when he says the James Bond line.
Yes. Why?
It
Why is it?
sounds maybe in that take, maybe they thought that was a good take, and then during editing, they
Yeah.
were like, "Oh man, this is the best take we got," and they just had to speed it up because I don't know. I think they should have just left it alone
Yeah.
because that sounds it couldn't have sounded any weirder than that originally.
Weird.
There's the one of the theatrical trailers of the movie has that scene and it's not dubbed, and it's like, I mean, he's saying it regularly.
So is it a case of bad dubbing, or is it a case of speeding up the film?
Oh, it's sped up.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. That's
I don't either.
odd. But there's a lot of odd things in this movie. So
Yeah.
but Colton was saying how Connery sells the sort of fun vibe. I think that's what I used to have such a problem with. Yeah, maybe I didn't like to see Bond having fun, but that's part of what made me enjoy it this go around. Like, that was one of the really enjoyable things about it, just seeing Connery kind of just having fun.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it would take like maybe 4 or 5 more times rewatching this for me to like get. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it, but like I think it's a solid movie. Just the tone is something that's going to take me a while to accept.
Yes.
Like it's kind of like abrasive with Connery's Bond for me. Like I can't put those two I can't put those two pieces of bread together and try to eat it, if that makes sense.
oh, that's a perfect way to put it. It's also a huge departure, and we've already brought this up, but it's a huge departure from the tone of On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yes.
I mean, those two movies are night and day.
Yes.
It's like, especially if you look at the intro to Lazenby and the intro to Connery in this film, like Lazenby's kind of introduced to like an elegant way with like the silhouette driving in the car, lighting the cigarette. Like it's kind of badass compared to Sean's more like, I'm not saying him throwing people through really thin walls and like strangling women isn't badass. It's just like it's, I guess sleazy is the right term for it, the way Jonathan said it. Like,
Yeah, this movie is shot like a comedy.
yeah,
It really is. The way a lot of these scenes are framed,
Yes.
it just and the way some of the scenes are lit, it looks like a comedy from the 70s.
Yeah.
And that is also another thing that makes it stick out in contrast to On Her Majesty's Secret Service, where I touched on that in the previous podcast. That movie was just beautifully shot. I mean, it's the way the cinematography on its own is a work of art, and then you go to this, which
compared to this right here,
and I want to say the movie kind of benefits from it, because it would kind of be off-putting to have this beautiful shot and then a guy sliding into a banister. You know what scene I'm talking about? Yeah. So it meshes well.
yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. I think it fits it. So what do you guys think about excuse me, Blofeld's scheme of making doubles of himself?
Go ahead,
Like,
Colton.
so I think for me it would have Blofeld making doubles of himself like would have made sense if they're in different places. Really, I guess because he caught him in the act of doing it, it's situationally fine. Also, like I know continuity. We don't talk about continuity or whatever. Like I wish like they had like changed. They had like said that they changed Blofeld's appearance or whatever again, like, or maybe that he was wearing a wig. But then at the same time, Sean Connery looks completely different than George Lazenby, so just screw it, I guess.
Dude, it's almost like they made it a point to have inconsistent continuity.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like they were trying.
Trying to.
They
Yes.
made an effort
Yes.
to make it not make sense.
I've always thought that. Like, why did they go to such lengths to make it not fit in?
Yeah.
But I will say that like it was kind of cool seeing him like hell bent on killing him, whether it was like executed well or not. Like I liked that. I want to just get this out here and say I hate the actor playing Blofeld. I didn't even like him in You Only Live Twice, so I know it's unfair. I just don't like looking at that guy at all.
I wouldn't say I hated him. And I'm not as I'm not as off put by his jawline as you are.
It's
But
just a whole bunch of stuff that
yeah.
like I don't like. It's not fair. I know it's not fair. I'm being very like opinionated here.
I don't really have a problem with how you came to that opinion. That's fine. I guess I just wanted to say like I don't hate him, and I think the actor it just suits this movie. I don't think you need a Shakespearean actor to play Blofeld here. And I know that's not what you were saying. I
Right.
get I get what you're saying, but I like he's fine. He's even good in some scenes. I couldn't see Telly Savalas dressing in drag.
Yeah,
I don't think that would have been good.
I don't think
No.
he would have done that. I just
No.
Yeah. I wish there would have been. I wish he would have been Blofeld in that moment, so he would have refused to do it. But can't do anything about it now.
So I'm gonna be straight with you. I mean, I don't mind Charles Gray at all in this movie. He is not my favorite. He is probably him. As much as I hate to say it, him or Christoph Waltz are probably my least favorite.
Yeah, I've heard you say this is the second time I've heard you say that, and I agree. But man, Christoph Waltz kind of got done dirty by the writing. He wasn't given anything to do.
Nope.
They wasted him so bad.
Well, that whole stupid thing about got to be brothers. You know what I mean? Like Blofeld and Bond being brothers.
That certainly didn't help that. But
Just,
I didn't mean to get off topic, but I
That's
did
all
want to. But I did want to say that like, it's maybe that's me like trying to defend because I love Christoph Waltz. I think he's a great actor, and I think he would have made a perfect. He's perfect for Blofeld. I think.
yes,
I've always as ever since I saw Inglourious Bastards, I thought he would make a great Bond villain.
Yep.
And they
I'm sorry, Caleb.
no, I was just gonna say they wasted him, man.
I'll say that I think he is a completely different caliber of actor, like than what was done with him. And I think that he's like a completely different caliber of actor compared to Charles Gray here. Like, if I had to compare them, like I would be like Charles Gray, Christoph Waltz, like, and I get Charles Gray probably fits the tone of this movie, but like I think it's just so abrasive because you have Sean Connery, and then you got Charles Gray.
Yes, that was super distracting. Just the fact that he was in You Only Live Twice and he's already had an interaction with Bond
Yeah.
as an ally, and now he's Blofeld. That's another one of those things where it's like you kind of had to try to do that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't know. It doesn't really take anything away from the movie as a whole, but it is very distracting when you see him initially.
Yeah.
Especially since I already had such strong feelings about him, and he had like the shortest scene ever, and You Only Live Twice. I'm like, nope, don't like this guy. He dies immediately. So like, and not to say that he doesn't pretty much. I'm not gonna say that, but what I'm saying is like, I'm really hammering on dude. We probably need to move on. I'm sorry.
That's that's odd. It's that's part of the discussion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we really I got off topic with the Blofeld thing. Sorry about that.
Well, no, that was me because I wanted to jump to Christoph Waltz's defense.
Anyway,
Spoilers. About 5 minutes too late.
Yeah.
what?
I said spoilers. About 5 minutes too late.
I don't think it's a spoiler. He's in the trailer. Maybe
No, I
maybe
mean like
the whole brother thing.
yeah, oh brother.
Yeah, that's why I stopped myself earlier. I was like, we'll touch on that later, but like, I think that's in the trailer too.
I don't know.
That's
I
definitely
didn't see the trailer whenever the
okay.
movie came out. So like I got to go into the movie watching it, and I think Jonathan might have spoiled it, but I was still like mildly surprised at the movie. So I don't hate it like everybody else does. Like I'm like okay cool.
Yeah,
So
I hate it. But sorry, Jonathan, go ahead.
I'm
That's
not
fine.
going.
That's all I wanted to say. I hated it.
Yeah, I understand.
But I don't want to make this about Spectre. We can, yeah.
Anyway, so like we get Bond thinking he killed Blofeld by drowning him in a mud bath or mud. Well, what is this? Like, what is it? Like a
Has this got something to do with the? This has got something to do with the cloning thing, right?
yeah.
So what are they making a mold of him?
I guess.
Well, it's maybe it's something like drywall mud. Like but that's what it's supposed to be. It's actually mashed potatoes. You probably knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they stunk up the set. Apparently.
I mean, now that you said mashed potatoes, it makes sense. I did not know.
But it's not mashed potatoes in the movie. It's like it's some kind of
I mean, I get what you're saying.
yeah.
It's like they use mashed potatoes in commercials, ice cream commercials.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, I would like to say whenever they point the gun at Sean and like he was reaching for his gun and then he does this thing.
Yeah.
I really like that. I thought it was like
Yeah, I like it too.
goofy, but like
Yeah.
like it was just really smooth. I'm like it's kind of posh, I guess. I don't know.
And what about the mouse trap he's got in his pocket?
Okay, I'll give him that. That was kind of funny and like it's campy, but I was like, okay, it's situational, but all his gadgets are situational.
That was one of the first things that stuck out to me. Just that having that was like, yeah, this is going to be very, very campy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do y'all just going on to the title sequence? What do y'all think about the Bond song, "Diamonds Are Forever"?
Like 90%. Like I love that song. I think she kills it.
Yeah, I would probably say one of my top 5 Bond themes. I love this song.
I don't know if it'd be in my top 5, but I'll say this: it is very catchy.
Yes.
The next day, it was stuck in my head for a good portion of the day. I do enjoy it. I'm really glad they got Shirley Bassey, whatever, back to sing. Yeah, I'm really glad that they brought her back to sing the title song.
Yeah. Well, that was just another way to try to make Goldfinger #2 over here.
Yep, they got all the ingredients. They just didn't mix it right, in my opinion. I don't know.
No, I agree. You nail on the head.
So, what do you think about Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd?
I thoroughly enjoyed their scenes. I loved them. They're so creepy.
Yep.
And of course, I mean that's what they're supposed to be, and they play it so well. And I love how, real quick, which is which?
So,
Mr. Kidd is a taller, long haired guy, right?
yeah, I think so.
I love how unassuming he looks. Like he just looks like somebody's uncle who wandered onto the set.
I know.
Yeah, you're right.
But I mean, I think that I think that's just I think that's to his advantage. I think it's to the movie's advantage.
Yeah.
It's an interesting villain. It makes for an interesting villain, I think.
You know the guy that played as him was like a badass like saxophone player.
No kidding.
Yeah, like,
I
it's
can
like,
see that. No, that's what you said. I can see him getting down with the saxophone.
yeah,
His
like
haircut screams saxophone.
Yes, yeah.
but yeah, like Mr. Wint, Mr. Kid, they're definitely definitely they kind of stick out. I mean, they're not like it's not like a Jaws or an Odd Job, but they're like this weird, like just strange. You know what I mean? Like,
It's what I was saying. It's just an interesting take on a henchman, I think, and
yes,
it's not inconsistent with the movie at all. I mean, they fit into this movie
it right.
perfect.
And I'm gonna be straight with you guys. This was 1971, and if anybody wants to have a go at me over this, feel free to. But I think this movie from 1971 handles homosexuality pretty well.
I thought that too.
Like, they weren't really extreme, like making fun of it, or like it
No,
wasn't.
I kind of expected it to be a punchline at some point, but it never was.
You
They
know,
were
it,
just they
it
just
was
happened to
just
be
like
gay.
it was just like these are two dudes who just happen to be lovers, and that's it. Like, I think the only time that we get any like even a jab made it, you know, homosexuality is whenever Bond ties the bomb to him at the end, and
Oh yeah, and he kind of.
goes up his that's the
Yeah.
only. But I think they actually handle it pretty well.
Well, I think that would fly in a movie today. Honestly,
Yeah,
I mean, I
and
don't think that's that offensive. But now I can't speak for.
yeah,
So if it is, then it is, and I apologize. But I didn't take it as offensive.
yeah,
So what I would like to say is it's going to be kind of a hot take. I think these would have been better if they were like instead of henchmen, like they were the big bad.
I thought the same thing. Like
okay.
if they had taken the characters in the novel and just sort of pasted it on them, I and you don't need Blofeld,
No.
but they like Jonathan said. I don't know if we were recording when he said this, but they felt like they had to use him,
Yeah,
and I get
Yeah,
it.
I get that. And I will also say, like Jonathan, you said they handled this tastefully. I also agree. I think they handled it tastefully, and I would like to say that there's a subtle like in joke. I think in the movie whenever he's talking about the Bond girl, he's like he's like she's pretty or whatever. And then like the one of them's just looking at him like mean mugging me. He's like for a lady.
yeah, for a lady.
Yeah,
That was funny.
But just so weird, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it's
they just make it weird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Bruce Glover
yeah, Bruce Glover.
is yeah. He plays it well.
Yes. Um, so we get them in this scene, killing that guy by putting a scorpion down his shirt. Probably one of the dumbest scenes I've ever seen, ever. Like, I mean, just daft. like,
Yeah.
his acting was terrible.
I mean, is there really even scorpions that can kill like that? That would be insane.
Man, that's what I was thinking. It's like I don't think there is a scorpion that can kill a human that
Yeah.
instantly.
Like, that's just, I mean, just crazy.
And he picked it up off the ground, right?
Yes.
If I remember, maybe if this had been like some sort of genetically engineered scorpion specifically for this purpose, even then, I still don't know why you wouldn't just pull out a gun and shoot him. But
Exactly.
yeah,
But so he kills him and then gets the diamonds and then blows up those other guys. So we see Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd are basically taking down all the members of this diamond smuggling ring. And we also see Bond in M, and they're going to basically like a meeting on diamond security, stuff like that.
I thought that scene was very reminiscent of the
Of the
scene.
gold scene.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Where they're meeting with the banker.
Yeah. Yeah, like this is pretty much like a straight up reproduction of that scene. Like
Very
I mean,
close.
like even down to the like the snarky alcoholic talk, you know,
Yep.
whenever he's like
Bond making comments about the
yeah,
what was it?
it was like he was drinking sherry
Okay.
and and like I guess M wasn't drinking it because of his liver.
Yeah, shame about your liver. Yeah.
Yeah. And said it's a unusually fine, you know, wine, 1851.
Mm-hmm.
And M's like, well, he's like, there is no vintage for sherry 007. And he's like, I was referring to the vintage on which the sherry is based, 1851. It's just like what I mean,
Yeah.
just
Very snobby.
just snobby, like just show off, you know, like
I think that's the only bit of class we get in this movie.
yep.
Totally, I like this scene a lot.
You
So
do?
you liked it?
Yeah, I like this scene totally. Like
Mhm.
if more of this movie had been like this, I think I would have enjoyed
This
it.
this movie is kind of awkward in that way.
Yes.
It feels like this movie is not maybe not exactly, but it's sort of like just it's like a sketch comedy show almost in the way that it's structured. Does that make sense?
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I think,
Yeah. So sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say since you brought up how like if the movie had kept that tone. The tone shifts seems to shift scene to scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally agree with what you're saying. Like I'm not saying it wasn't. I don't really know what I'm trying to say with it.
There's just a lot of inconsistencies. There's inconsistencies with the plot. There's inconsistencies with the characters.
Yes.
Which I'll touch on. Well, I think it's a good time to bring up. Let's see, Tiffany Case. Or
Yeah.
did you want to? Was there anything else you wanted to say about that scene?
Oh no, I was good.
I did think it's funny that Bond thinks he's above this mission, sort of.
Yeah.
Did you get that vibe?
Yes.
He's like you. Like,
That's the way it was in the novel too.
okay, cool.
Like I mean, straight up in the novel, Bond's like, I don't know why I'm doing this. They're just a bunch of Italian grease balls and stuff like that. Talking about the mafia, because the novel is pretty much like Bond going up against the mafia, and you know, but like I mean, it's a weird novel because you usually got Bond either fighting the Russians or fighting Spectre, but in this one, just up against the mob. So
that would have been such a better movie, man. I really wish they would have kept the more grounded
yeah,
sort of vibe and had him go up against the mafia. But since you gotta have Blofeld,
yeah,
you've gotta have bigger stakes, especially coming off of Her Majesty's Secret Service, where he's developing like bioweapons.
yes,
You gotta top it. So.
yes. But yeah, Tiffany Case. So what do y'all think about old Tiffany Case?
She serves her purpose. Like she's attractive. Uh, sometimes she's not as attractive for me at points. I don't know what it is. But like she sells her scenes. I think she's not my favorite at all.
I really like her character when we're introduced to her.
Yes.
She is a completely different character. That's what I was talking about. Character inconsistencies. She's really good here. You start out meeting this sort of
Pseudo
sorry.
Like she's pretty intelligent here. Like she's got the one up on Bond here.
She's intelligent and she's like independent.
Yeah.
I guess like she can clearly take care of herself. Like
The
she
movie
really.
forgets that though.
Sorry.
I think the movie forgets that though.
It does.
Yes, big time. I mean, she does a complete 180.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Because
really think that is a common thought about her character in this movie. She starts off as, you know, snarky and, you know, smart and all that, and then later on in the movie she just basically turns into a bimbo, you know what I mean?
yeah.
That's
Out of character.
Mm.
so yeah, I totally agree. And I don't think that's the first time we're gonna see that happen in a Bond movie. I mean, the only time we're gonna see it happen in a Bond movie. I think it happens later on. But
It wouldn't be such a big issue if she didn't play a pretty big part in the ending climactic scene. It wouldn't have been near as bad, but I like what Bond says when he walks in and she goes to her bedroom, she comes back and he said, "Weren't you a blonde when I came in?"
yeah,
Because she was blonde in the novel, right?
yes.
Yeah. I don't know if that was a nod to the novel or not, but it was still funny.
And we see Bond assuming the role of Peter Franks, uh, diamond smuggler.
So I'll say this: I don't think I'm probably in the minority. I don't think him assuming the Peter Frank's role was handled as well as the Sir Hilary Bray thing.
Yeah,
Like he was just pretty much just James Bond, which
James
is
Bond.
fine.
Yeah,
It's fine. It serves its purpose.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I agree. Like you can, I mean, they don't even really stick with it hardly at all. I mean, he's only Peter Franks for like 2 or 3 scenes, then it's back to, you know, Bond pretty much. So
Do you think if he had committed to this character a little more, Blofeld maybe wouldn't have recognized him?
I don't know.
Interesting thought.
You know, kind of like the way it was on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah,
Blofeld just don't even recognize who you
that's
are.
what I was referring to. Like it
Yeah.
seems like he maybe he just doesn't recognize faces well. So he could have just been like, I'm so and so, and I'm not Bond. What are you talking about?
I'm Peter Franks.
Yeah, and
Maybe
Blofeld. Go ahead.
maybe if he hadn't have like literally had an encounter with him 2 weeks ago at the beginning of the movie.
I don't know, man.
No, you're right.
Um, so
Blofeld just can't see characteristics. He's characteristic
His
blind.
facial recognition just isn't there.
Yeah.
so I want to say this, and I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but you know, the money penny scene, which was a little bit before what we're talking about right now.
Yeah. Hmm.
The money penny scene, you know, Bond says something like, "Is there anything you want me to bring you back?" And she's like, says something like, "A diamond on a ring." It's like what I always wanted to say, and I even thought about this as like a kid watching this movie. I was like, Money Penny, his wife just got killed. Like, and you're
Oh, dude, I didn't even think about that.
yes, like it's like literally the movie before his wife,
Oh man,
and then she's saying that. It's like, wow, that's a lot of tact right there.
it's a little insensitive.
Yes, it's like, wow.
Let him mourn, lady.
I give that. Well, my mental theory for that is they try to act like that movie didn't happen. Period.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're trying. That may be why the tone is so different. I'm sure that's why the tone is so different
Yeah.
because they're trying to separate this from Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah. But anyway, so what do you think about the Peter Franks and Bond fight in the elevator?
I I feel like they were trying to go for a From Russia with Love vibe
Yeah.
because it's sort of a close quarters engagement and there's no music. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Like there was no soundtrack to the fight. And I always thought when Bond rears back to punch him, that him knocking the glass out with his elbow was a mistake. But I don't think it is. I think he had to do that for him to be able to have something to react to so he could turn around so there could be a fight.
Yeah.
Um It's not bad. The fight scenes in this movie, I don't know. I don't know if I would say they look better, but they are better in the sense that they're not jumpy. Like they're not edited in that way.
I'm gonna say this. I always thought this was a pretty brutal fight. Like, I mean, this isn't like, Bond hits him one time and he's out. This is,
Mhm.
I mean, I would say this is a, neck and neck fight. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's not like at the beginning where he punches that guy at the casino.
yeah,
Like just one hit. That was kind of goofy, but it's pretty intense fight. That's why I said they were kind of going for a from Russia with Love
yeah,
feel.
yeah. I
I,
agree there.
I like the fight. I think that it kind of almost it sets up him almost blowing his cover, which makes sense. I think I, I don't think Bond would have let him into the building and fought him like that. I don't think. I get that he had to. I think he would have just like handled him out in the alley or something.
That's what I was thinking after that scene sort of wrapped up. I was like, man, it would have made way more sense to just grab him because you were right there. He didn't. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to touch on. The way Bond disguises himself right here, or the way he makes himself look unassuming, I guess, pretending to make out with somebody.
Yes.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Like,
But
that is like the low point of this whole series. Is that right there?
that was really cringy.
Yes, it was. Colton, what did you think about it?
I don't know, man. Uh, I'm not surprised by anything Connery does at this point. Like, I think he's just. I'm not saying he's just grabbing at straws, but I think he's just doing what he's got to get the job.
He's got a little bit of leverage, right? At this point, so who's to say that wasn't his idea?
I mean, it might have been.
That whole scene might have commenced just because the producers were like, all right. So he walks up, grab him, choke him out. Connor's like, nah, no, I think I'm gonna follow him in and I'm gonna impersonate a German guy.
For whatever reason.
And the producers were like, oh Jesus, okay. Well, the contract's already signed, so and we can't afford to fire you at this point.
Yeah, why does he impersonate a German guy? He ain't in Germany or Austria. He's in
Holland, right?
Amsterdam.
Oh, Amsterdam. My bad. They mentioned Holland at some point, don't they?
I mean, that's in Holland.
Yeah.
Dang, dude, I'm retarded.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's because Bond says I've always fancied a trip to South Africa, and M turns real quick and he's like, going to Holland.
Man, I didn't know Amsterdam was in Holland. I don't know where I thought Amsterdam was.
It's all good, bro. Dude, I'm a history teacher, man. Like,
Well, maybe it's just what helps me remember is that's where the Royale with cheese is from,
that's right.
ain't it? Yeah.
Hey, a fellow Pulp Fiction lover, I see.
He said, a man of taste, I
Man
see.
of taste. Yeah, I
Second
love
Pulp
Pulp Fiction, man.
reference we made on our podcast.
What's that?
I said that's the second Pulp Fiction reference we made in our podcast.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I like Pulp
Before we get too far, yeah, Jonathan, or maybe it was Colton that said this. I don't think, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't think he does as good a job of playing a different guy, like being in disguise. I don't think he does as good a job as Lazenby.
Yeah,
I agree.
Lazenby does it a lot better. But so after Bond kills the real Peter Franks and assumes the role of Peter Franks, then we get Bond and Tiffany in America. So we're meeting this movie's Felix Leiter. What do y'all think about this version?
I think he's like he's cool in this scene. In other scenes, like he's kind of like a nag, and I get he's got to be a nag. His job's on the line, but he's just really a nag, man.
Yeah, it's like they're not really buddies in this one, are they?
No.
Well, I don't know if I would go that far. I was gonna say I really like him.
You do?
I like this version of Felix a lot.
Well, wow. All right.
But yeah, and I can also buy the fact that I can't buy the fact that this is the same Felix we've had, obviously. But like, hey, I get the vibe that this guy's his buddy, but he's not kissing his ass here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He just seemed like he's really sick of James's shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He had enough.
Yes.
Like,
That's
like, had
a
enough
much better
of-
way to phrase it.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't mind him. He never. I'll be straight with you. He's probably my least favorite, Felix. Actually, no. I put him over the Living Daylights, Felix Leiter, John Terry. He's my least favorite.
Yeah, he really doesn't do much for that film. I'll say.
So
The one thing that I do really like about this Felix, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the actor, and it might not have anything to do with the character really, but I guess the way the plot is structured, like how he and Bond like really work together here.
Yeah.
Whereas usual, I mean, Felix is kind of in the background, and every once in a while, Bond will hit him up if he needs something. But like, there's a good portion of this movie where they coordinate with each other, and I thought that was really cool.
yes. Well, you got to think this is Felix's home turf, you know.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, like even though the CIA are not supposed to operate inside the United States, I mean, I could still see Felix having something to do with, you know, another country's intelligence operation in the U.S. So I think he's a good, you know, U.S. liaison to go through.
Based on just the movie in general, I don't think you should really question stuff like that. Like that's not the weirdest thing in this movie.
Yeah.
We'll throw this out here. I think Jimmy Dean would have been a better Felix.
But man, it would have been so weird. It would have been hard for me to buy if all of a sudden Felix had a Southern accent. I mean, it's already enough that it's a different actor every time.
Well, I mean, Felix is from Texas, right?
Yep.
I mean, yeah, but okay, if he had had a Southern accent from the very beginning, then yeah, fine. Jimmy Dean could be
I get it.
Felix.
Yeah.
But it would have been so jarring if when Bond meets him at the airport, he's like, "Hey, James, what's going on?" Like,
I'm not saying he needed to ham it up as much. I'm just saying,
yeah, I know. I
I
was exaggerating.
I get you're exaggerating, and it's funny. Like I'm not. I think it would have been funny to have seen that too. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I just think it would have been more enjoyable. Like,
well, you know what, man? At this point, why the hell not? Make Jimmy Dean. you know.
So I was watching another YouTuber, and I'm pretty sure he said this. It's this guy. Y'all ever heard of Damn Fool Idealistic Crusader?
I have heard of him.
Okay, well, like I watch a lot of his videos. He's got a lot of good stuff on Bond, and I'm pretty sure it was him who said that if they were going to do like an accurate portrayal of Felix Leiter, it would literally be like Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yeah,
Like that.
I agree.
Felix Leiter from the books, right there. That is.
Yeah,
I really like that, Jonathan.
That is. I mean, that is the way Felix was in the books. He was like, you know, like straw, like his hair just described like straw. You know, like blonde, lean, real Southern Texas sounding.
Plus, he Matthew McConaughey is like not conventionally attractive, so like he would not be more attractive than Bond, which I don't think he should be. So I could really see him as playing a Felix at some point.
I think it depends on which Bond, really.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because look, I don't really have the ability to view other men this way, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Just from my just generally what I pick up from my wife, especially Craig, is not that attractive of a Bond.
No, I agree.
My wife will tell you the exact opposite.
Okay, well,
My wife thinks Daniel Craig is fine.
maybe it's just in comparison with the rest. So well, the point I'm trying to make is like maybe if you put Matthew McConaughey's Felix in a movie with Craig.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I couldn't see that. I couldn't
I
see.
couldn't either. I just don't think they'd have any chemistry.
Yeah.
So here's my take on the so it's like the leading man theory. Caleb, you are a huge film buff, and I get that you can't like gauge a man's attractiveness, but like I think I'm not saying Daniel Craig doesn't hold somebody's attention as Bond. Like my wife thinks he's really attractive, like, and I get why a woman would like, but I don't think so. Like Sean Connery has leading man presence and leading man appearances, and like so does Roger Moore, even though I don't think he looks like Bond, but like they look like a star of a movie.
Yes.
So when you have Matthew McConaughey, he is a movie star, but I don't think he's conventionally attractive as like leading man star of a movie.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
that's a great point. Yeah, okay.
Sorry,
I'm on board now.
So like if you had like Matthew McConaughey playing like Felix Leiter opposite of like Henry Cavill, he's not going to look as good as Henry Cavill.
That, like, I'm gonna be straight with you. I think that would be pretty cool.
Oh man, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, really want to see this movie now.
Yeah.
I watched the shit out of that, honestly.
That sounds really good. But dude, real quick before we move past Felix, it's not relevant to the movie. I love oh man, his name just slipped my mind. But the one we're introduced to in Casino Royale, Craig's Felix. I
Jeffrey
love
Wright.
it. Sorry, Jeffrey Wright. Yeah. I love his Felix. He might be my favorite, honestly.
Same here. I think he might be my favorite too.
He's superb. Like I have no complaints about him whatsoever, except for something that happens in No Time to Die.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, I love Jeffrey Wright's portrayal. I mean, that's probably about as good as it gets so far.
I think my favorite thing about him is he is the same actor in all of Craig's. Yeah. His appearances are all by the same actor.
Yeah. He gets to build on the character and he sells it. And I'll say, to his caliber as an actor, I love him in most things that he's in. I think he's even, as much as I don't like Rob Pattinson's Batman movie, I think he was a great Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was.
Yeah. He was the best part of that film, I think. Mm-hmm. Him and John Turturro.
Yeah.
Back to Bond. Sorry.
So, what do you think about these gangsters in this movie? These mafia boys.
I got a brother.
he said, I got a brother.
Yeah, they're cool.
And that other one says, you want to sit up front, Mr. Franks? It's a smoother ride if you sit in the front, Mr. Franks.
Yeah, and then they all squeeze in.
And like that guy said that, and Connor's like, yes, I believe I'll sit in the front. It's like, what? Like the riding in that movie is so weird.
It was so funny watching Connery like get in the car. I'm sorry, Caleb. It's
no,
hilarious.
Yeah, that's essentially that's sort of what I was going to say. Like Bond wouldn't do that, but he's not playing Bond right now. He's trying to be this other guy. With that being said, I still don't think there's a good reason to ride up front. Maybe he just wanted to.
Well, I wasn't paying attention. Did the hearse even have a back seat?
Yeah, the guy who says, "Hey, I got a brother." He's sitting in the back seat with like 2 vacant seats.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I took it as like he didn't want to ride in the back with his dead brother. If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like maybe it's like a double entendre type thing.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't consider that. No, I didn't consider that. That's an interesting take.
Nobody else in the world probably saw it like that, so I'm sorry.
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't see why you'd say that. I mean, it made a lot of sense to me.
So what about the whole like Bond getting cremated? Like, I mean, like, what do y'all think about that?
That scene traumatized me as a kid.
It's, it's so strange. Like,
It is so dark.
yes, like,
So go ahead, John.
I mean, just, I mean, there isn't really much for anything. I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. I don't know what I was saying. There isn't really anything for Bond to do in that one at all. You know, like, I mean, there's no way he could escape. It's just by pure luck. Dude gets him out and, talks to him.
They just expect him to die.
Yeah, like, so yeah, I don't know. That's probably one of my least favorite scenes of the whole series is this cremation scene.
I get that in Bond's line of work, and Bond in particular is going to be in some situations that requires other people to get him out of. I
Yeah.
We get that a lot. It seems like in this movie.
Um. So pretty much Las Vegas. So how do you feel about Bond in Las Vegas?
Love
I
it.
Yeah, I don't dislike it, but I do feel like that this was just a way for the producers or the studio to cater to an American audience.
Hmm.
I think maybe if this movie had just taken place maybe in a small way, just like a small part of the movie being taking place in Las Vegas, it would have been fine. I just don't view it as an exotic location, but it's because I'm from America. I've never been to Las Vegas, but I'm an American, so it's not as exotic to me.
I
So
understand. I understand.
so I completely agree with what you're saying, Caleb. And that's the way I felt about it the first time I tried to watch Diamonds Are Forever.
Mm.
Because this is my second time watching it, and I could not finish it the first time because I absolutely hated the thought of James Bond being somewhere like in Las Vegas.
Mm.
Like I was like, I thought it was dumb. I didn't like seeing him in an American setting like that. But since I've watched more of the Bond movies and I've seen him go to different places or whatever, I'm more open to it. But then the more we watch this movie, the more I'm like, Bond would probably love Las Vegas, considering
Yeah,
he's always going to casinos
yeah,
and all the women. Like I think like he would live it up there, even though we don't see him do that in the movie. Like I could see him just going to Las Vegas for fun.
Yeah.
yeah.
If that makes
Maybe if
sense.
maybe if we got like a Bond goes on vacation movie.
Well, I mean, he goes on vacation like every other movie anyway. Like he goes on holiday
Yeah, that's true.
and then ends up doing some kind of like spy revenge bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm not talking bad. I'm just saying like
He
I
just
used to
lo-
do what.
he loves his work. He can't he can't help it. He's got to do spy stuff even on holiday.
No, you're right. I'm just saying like I used to think it was really jarring, and like now I'm just like I'm not sold on this whole movie, but I'm like I'm sold on like Bond going to Vegas and doing shit here. I guess if that makes sense.
Well, he's got to go to different locations. Like it's
Yeah,
just yeah, but I don't know. I wouldn't have made it the main like location, I guess.
it doesn't seem exotic.
Hmm.
Like I get what you're saying, so
Yeah.
I completely understand.
It could just be that we all know Las Vegas is just Las Vegas. I guess maybe back then it was like it was a little bit more exotic. It
Yeah,
was a
well,
little.
that's what I was saying, and that's why I think I don't find it as exotic because I mean, we see it all the time. Not maybe not in person, but like as an American, it's more relevant. It's more prominent,
Yes,
and especially to somebody back in the '70s from the UK who that might have never seen it. Like
Yeah.
it could be very exotic to them.
yeah.
So what do you think about old Shady Tree?
I love that too. I thought it was I liked it.
Caleb, you got anything to
Is
say about?
is he the one that gets Bond out of the casket?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Uh, I don't really have a lot to say about him. I
Yeah.
appreciate that he got Bond out of the casket. I like that. Yeah, that's about all. That's about all I'll say.
I got you. So, of course, Wint and Kid end up killing him. Um,
I'd like to say something about Wint and Kid if that's okay.
go ahead.
So like there's some parodies of Wint and Kid out there from like my childhood that like I totally picked up on but couldn't remember their names, so I googled it a little bit ago. And
Yeah.
like let me say their names. I think it's Wink and Mr. Phibb from Codename Kids Next Door, which is
Yep.
very spy element. Like there's a ton of spy elements in Codename Kid Next Door, and I really liked them as characters when I was a kid. And like as a kid, I never thought of them as gay, I guess, but like I could see it now, looking back at it. So like, I'm not saying they were telegraphing that to the audience of children, but like totally, those characters are like really, 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 really reminiscent of these characters. So
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying that to my wife while she was like sitting next to me on her phone. I'll go ahead and tell you. You've already asked about my thoughts. I'll tell you her thoughts. She has no thoughts. She didn't even attempt. So, uh, yeah. I was telling her that. Oh, I asked her, have you ever seen Codename Kids Next Door? And she's like, yeah. I was like, these whatever their names are, they're based on these two. She thought that was pretty cool, and I think that's the only thing she got from this movie.
at least you took something away from it.
I guess.
So what about Plenty O'Toole?
I really liked her, honestly. Like,
During the filming of this, Connery and her like had a relationship going.
good job, Sean. I approve.
Like I just like the way that she goes up to him and says, hi, I'm Plenty, and he says, of course you are.
Mm.
And
named after your father, perhaps.
yeah, named after your father, perhaps. And like instead of playing baccarat or blackjack, Bond's playing craps.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's shooting dice.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Colton. Bond has a lot to do here. He really could live it up in Las Vegas for a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's just like his character. Like, because in the books, like he's always playing cards and gambling, and he's always romancing women. Like Vegas is like America's like just like they just throw it all together there. So
Yeah.
I think that's what in my head for me. So
Oh yeah, I buy that.
and plus Plenty O'Toole, man, like I think we don't get enough of her in this movie because she's a ditz. Like
Yeah.
I think the ditzy stuff that happens with Plenty would have been better at the end of the movie with Plenty than with Tiffany Case.
Oh man, yeah, that would have fit her character so much better. I didn't think of that. Yeah, you're right.
So what do y'all think about the part when they pick her up and throw her off the hotel?
I didn't know there was a pool down there.
That is like one of my most quoted lines, Caleb. All right, Colton, do you remember Jake Smith?
Yes, I remember Jake Smith.
Dude, me and Jake would like do that line so much whenever we used to work at Walmart.
Yeah.
Like I got him watching all the Bond movies. And yeah, like we were all the time quoting that. That's one of my favorite lines.
Man, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I'm gonna start including that in my day-to-day vocabulary.
But like I just like how Connery says exceptionally fine shot.
Mhm.
Like, and that other guy's like, shit, I didn't know there's a pool. I'm just
That's I kind of picked up on a like a tonal or not a tonal shift, a tonal inconsistency. Like that guy just said that they were trying to splatter her on the concrete.
Yes.
That's dark. I mean,
It's
we
really
already
dark.
know these guys are bad. You don't have to hammer at home anymore. And yeah, like really dark.
So, full disclosure, whenever you brought up Shady Tree a minute ago, like I thought you were talking about like Slumber and Co. because
Yeah.
I forgot. So that's what I was talking about, loving it, and all the mafia dudes or whatever.
Yeah.
So like whenever they come in the scene, I'm just like eating it up. I really liked this, and I liked. I was really surprised that the scene happened. Like I was not expecting a pool. So
He wasn't either.
yeah.
Um,
So
is
that's
this
I like
go
this
ahead.
scene a lot. Well, I'm just saying like so I like mafia tropes. So these guys, it's I didn't know there was a pool down there. It's like what's with the trick pool table for me?
Yeah, that's I didn't even think about this until just now. Is this another Goldfinger element that perhaps like the inclusion of the mafia? Are these type of characters maybe?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Hmm.
I mean,
That just
they were
just occurred to
in
me.
the book, obviously, but I don't know. Maybe Guy Hamilton just liked
It's
having
yeah.
a bunch of mafia dudes around Bond.
Yeah, it's sort of. I was gonna say, the only thing we're missing is the line. Hey, what's with the trick pool table? Like, that would have been the icing on the cake.
Maybe
Yep.
that's why they included the pool. Just it's like
Uh,
we'll just use a pool.
Bingo.
But
I'm sorry.
so
Too bad
anyway,
there's not a monorail in this movie.
Hmm.
We get back on
there
track.
isn't a monorail, is it? So
There's oh sorry.
I'll go ahead.
There's a moon buggy.
There is a
Oh
moon.
my god.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jonathan. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. So what about what do you think about Blofeld being? Oh, I mean, not Blofeld. Bond using the grapple hooks.
Before we talk about that, this is my favorite shot in the movie. Him riding up on top of the elevator. This is the most cinematic part of this film. Like
Yes.
Sean just looks so fucking cool riding on top of that elevator. And like I didn't know if he was really doing it. I it seems like whenever he gets to the top and has to crouch down, it looked like he was really afraid because he was too tall.
Yeah.
I loved this scene. I don't know how it was done, if it was improvised or whatever. I thought it was great. And the grapple gun I thought was great too. So I thought it was awesome.
This is the only James Bond-esque thing that we get in this movie, I think. Well, maybe the car chase scene
Hog
is
chase, yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Good car space.
But like this is the only scene where I got James Bond vibes.
I understand.
Yeah.
I completely understand.
Yeah, but I mean, with that being said, I loved it. I loved this scene. I thought it was cool. Like Colton said, it was shot well.
Yeah.
The only bad looking part, which I, I feel bad for even bringing it up, but there's a scene when the elevator goes back down. Connery is holding on to something, right? Or no, he's climbing up to the top of the building, and the rear projection under Connery would have looked fine, but whoever lit that scene lit it in such a way that Connery is casting a shadow
Yeah.
on the screen.
Yeah. It's jarring.
Yeah, but other than that, no, I like that scene a lot.
Me too.
And so we pretty much get Bond scaling the roof and entering in and winding up on a toilet.
Which is weird.
And of course, you hear Willard White's voice. Then we realize your boy Blofeld's back. And I'm going to say this, and this is going to be, I think this is felt throughout the whole movie. You could watch this. Actually, I don't think it's felt throughout the whole movie. I had to reword that. Sorry. Where is the whole like idea of, hey man, you just killed my wife, so I mean, they don't even bring Tracy up at all, like at all. You know what I mean?
I think that's by design.
Yeah, I do too. Like,
Yeah.
but I remember as a kid, like that always sticking out. Like, why is Bond not saying, you bastard, you killed my wife? I mean, it's just not even referred to at all. Like,
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I just think it's odd in general that it's the only reference we get is in For Your Eyes Only when
yeah.
he's at her headstone. That's it. I think.
I mean, there's a reference here and there in a few movies, but
Okay.
that's really the big one right there.
Yeah.
So this is maybe a little off topic, and I've not seen all the Bond movies, so I don't know if there's any other reference to it. This movie, I think, would have been awesome if they had used Draco. Like, okay, so a Bond movie in general would be cool if Draco was trying to get back at Bond for
Oh,
not successfully having
yeah.
protected Tracy.
That's a really good idea.
Colton, dude, it is so strange that you say that because that is literally one of the Bond novels.
Really?
One of the Bond novels.
One.
It's Never Dream of Dying is the novel.
So who did that? Is it a continuation novel?
Raymond Benson did it. The man that I met in Chicago earlier this year.
Is that the book you got signed?
No. The book I got signed was another book that he had there. It wasn't a Bond one. It was just a Raymond Benson book that I got.
So
okay.
I got a couple of questions, and we don't have to spend too long on it. But you've got me curious. When does this novel take place?
The Diamonds Are Forever, the novel.
No. I'm sorry.
Raymond Benson novel.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's in the 90s.
Okay. So, but now this is the same. This is the Ian Fleming universe, right? Okay. So what? 30 years later,
Yeah.
that's still pretty. Yeah, I was thinking for some reason I was thinking it might have taken place like right after On Her
No.
Majesty's Secret Service, which probably wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
Um,
In like it, you got to remember, like in the novels, in the continuation novels, Bond is like pretty much an ageless character. Like, he's not like,
kind of like in the movie version.
yes,
Yeah.
like he's like perpetually like 45 years old. You know what I mean? Like he's just
Do they make any reference to that or
the what?
to him being ageless?
No.
Okay, that's
No.
good because
It's just like an understood thing. It's not. I mean, it's not like real. It's not canon, but it's just understood that Bond is never gonna like be like a 70-year-old man. One of his books. He's just always gonna be.
yeah. It's always going to take place in the current time, but he's like his age is not going to reflect that.
Yeah.
So just like the movies, pretty much.
Yes. Yep.
Now that being said, the novels that have come out here lately have not been like that. They've been period pieces, like in the 60s or the 50s.
I really wish they would do a movie like that, man. Even if it's just a one-off, like a what if sort of thing. Yeah. I think that would be awesome. But back to the movie.
Yeah, back to the movie. So, what do you think about this scene where Bond kills the wrong Blofeld? And what was it? Blofeld said, "Right idea," and then Bond says, "But wrong pussy."
It is.
And this just goes back to, I think I said this in the Goldfinger review, but like I think Connery just likes to say pussy. I mean, I truly do.
I remember you saying that in the Goldfinger episode, and I guess I think I was just thinking, well, yeah, I guess that's possible. But after he said it here, I was like, oh yeah, he definitely likes that word.
I just likes the word, I guess. I don't know, but
I'm gonna put this out here. I think we all like saying it.
I try not to say it, man, because
I'm totally kidding.
It doesn't come up a lot for me.
Yeah, I don't. That's not really usual.
I will say it.
Like, if I ever say the word, I'm talking about a person being that.
I got you.
I've said pussy so much in like the past couple of months, or like the past month. I've said that word more than I have in the past 8 years.
What? Because you're back in the Bond game?
Yeah, just talking about Bond.
Just talking about Bond. Yep, I understand. But Yeah, that's really whenever I say it too, because that's not something I normally say. Anyway, to get off that subject,
Yeah, let's go. Sorry.
So Bond gets in the elevator, and turns out there's a little trap, the toxic gas. What's up, Colton? You got something to say about it?
Why the hell would he get in that elevator? Like, why
Blofeld
would
had him at gunpoint.
I get that he had him at gunpoint? Why would he trust Gold, or why would he trust Blofeld? Like
He
he
did.
gets in
He
there,
didn't. Guess why? Because he was like looking at the floor. He was, he was skeptical.
well, I get that he was skeptical, but like he's still like it was still like really not. I think it was really not Bond.
Oh, it was definitely out of character. Like,
Yeah,
but they had to have him get on the elevator.
yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. It's just like I was like, dude, this is dumb. A little bit.
Oh yeah.
So we get Bond knocked out and taken to a pipeline, and they must have really had faith in whatever like they must have really had faith in whatever gas that was that knocked him out, because I mean, as you can see, he just laid there in that pipeline before it was even put together. You know what I mean?
So was the gas supposed to kill him?
I have no idea.
Because
I just
that's kind of what I took from it. Like the gas was supposed to kill him, and this was their way of burying him. So
okay.
nobody would find. I'm not saying that's the case, but I just thought it like, oh well, it's James Bond. It's going to take more than gas to kill him, and that's why he didn't die. But
He's built up his lung strength with all this
oh yeah, yeah, the cigarettes have
arsenic.
coated his lungs in
Yeah.
some sort of protective
That
shield.
was his James
So
Bond
what?
planned all along, Caleb.
Oh, you
I said that was his James Bond plan all along.
okay, all right. Yeah, you lagged for a
You
second.
lagged for a second, boy.
Sorry, guys.
You good?
Yeah,
But,
it was a that's his way of protecting himself from things such as gas. He's the cancer is blocking all the other
God.
bad stuff.
I will say this: I really do like the way Bond diffuses that little whatever that robot thing is that's going.
Is that even a thing?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's that they send those down there to test for leaks, I think, and like just the structural integrity of the pipe.
Oh, dude, I thought it was like welding it from the inside.
I don't know. I noticed that too. I'm not sure, and I'm not saying this to sound like I'm an expert in pipeline. I'm not, but I'm pretty sure that's just something that they send down there to make sure everything's good before they start sending material to the pipe.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense because man, I thought it was like some type of pipe welding robot. Like
Yeah.
I was like, so I'm sorry. Back to the show.
No, it does look really weird. Like it's a it looks like a torture device. Like it looks like something Blofeld would send down there to make sure Bond is dead.
Yeah.
So, what about the addition of Bond's new ally, the Rat? And oddly enough, this is not the only time we see Bond talking to that type of rodent. I mean, Daniel Craig's Bond even continues this tradition.
I want a spin-off series where James Bond has had this Dr. Dolittle ability for this whole time, but he can only speak to rats. And we just for like in the Bond movies, we don't get to hear what the rats could say, but in the spin-off, it's just Bond talking to rats.
What about like there's like a double O operative that's a rat, like the Perry the Platypus, but it's a rat.
Sure, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I do think that's I won't say it's a nice scene. It's funny. One of us smells like a tart's handkerchief. I don't even know what that means, but I thought it was funny.
Well, what that means is like a whore's handkerchief because it was a bunch of perfume. Like, did you see the little bottle of perfume that they set Bond on top of in the car?
Uh
Well, the bottle
oh
broke.
yeah. I remember. Yeah, because I remember thinking at the time that was like that was like a tracking device or something that it fell out of Bond's pocket and was gonna. But no, yeah, it was just perfume.
It's just perfume bottle that was back there. Um, so tell me, what do you guys think about um, whenever Bond meets Willard White? Bambi and Thumper, what do you think about?
Bambi and Thumper were not great. Like, it was pretty cringe. Uh, what I don't get is like, are Bambi and Thumper keeping him there? Is that what it was?
I Yeah, that's what I took out of it.
Okay,
Oh, they. What did you ask?
I asked if Bambi and Thumper were keeping him there,
Oh,
like he was prisoner. Like I assumed he was prisoner there anyway.
um, I don't know. I kind of just assumed that he just. I mean, doesn't Willard say that those are his friends and like they're usually there or
Maybe.
what? What is it, Jonathan? What? Why are they there? I guess.
I really don't know. I don't know, Caleb.
Okay.
They're just like I guess I never. I just always thought they respect her, but I just always thought they respect her. But I guess that could be like maybe his own bodyguards.
Well, Willard White says, "I see you met Bambi and Thumper."
Yeah. So I mean,
So I kind of took that as, or no, you could be right too. Like they could be from Spectre, like keeping, uh, like
yeah,
Colton said, keeping him there.
Well, I just figured that Blofeld needed him out of the way, and he just sent him to his penthouse and made Bambi and Thumper keep him there,
Yeah,
whether they sexually entertain him or what. Like,
I'd be scared to be sexually entertained by them.
hey, in all fairness, I agree.
I will say this real quick. If you're ready to move past, I want to say one thing. That the other, I don't know which is which, but one of them has Bond in like a chokehold with her legs, and he's like fixed to pass out, and then the other one kicks him. Why would you do that? Like,
yeah, like
unless they were just trying to have fun. Like, if that was the whole point, just to mess around and just have a little tussle with Bond, then yeah, I get it. But like, if I I thought the point was to take him out.
yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, and like she's right there, fixing to completely choke him out, and the other one kicks him and frees him up.
So, and that is weird. Like the some of the moves they used in the fight in general were just weird. I think.
Yeah.
Uh, Caleb, what did you think about the cinematography as Bond's walking in? Did you
Uh,
did you like it?
it did stick out to me. Yeah, it was. It was just. It seemed like it was shot different than the whole movie. Like,
I I think so too.
yeah, but if that's to say that it was good, like that's all I can say about it. But I like. I'm glad you brought this up. I love this little Bond theme rendition that we get right here. Did you guys notice that the piece of music as he's walking into Willard White's was his
So
vacation house?
I liked the music. I wasn't like cueing into it, and it didn't stay with me. But I liked the tone that it set, like him walking with his little coat over his shoulder and everything. It felt very Bond for me. So the music served its purpose to sell it to me, if that makes sense.
I just really like I like all of the James Bond theme alternatives that we get sometimes.
No, I agree. I like how they
Mhm.
changed it up. I'm not saying that I noticed that they changed it up. I liked the music there. If
Yeah,
that
it's
makes
sort of got a yeah, it's sort of got a little bit of the Diamonds Are Forever song. Uh, I don't know how you would describe it. Like if a musical more musically inclined person was here, they'd describe it better. But it's like Diamonds Are Forever, instrumental mixed with the James Bond theme, and I really liked it.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it in greater detail. I do think that was referenced in the Amazon music documentary I watched.
Okay.
Maybe that's Okay, so this scene is in that documentary. I think that's why I noticed the scene. I did not notice the music as prevalent, like you said.
Okay.
That scene of Bond walking is in that documentary.
Hmm.
I think that's why I liked it because maybe that's kind of synonymous for this movie for me. That
Just
and him on top of the elevator, just those two shots,
uh-huh.
him walking all
Oh yeah, well, you
like a
definitely
Bond.
get you definitely get examples of good cinematography in here. It's just not consistent.
No, definitely not.
Um, yeah, good points, guys.
Oh, did we go past the car chase scene?
Yes, we did. And
Oh,
we're about to go back to that.
okay. Well, you lead us there.
Um, first thing, what about we completely skipped over the moon buggy sequence? So what are your thoughts about that, guys? The moon buggy.
Moonbuggy loses a wheel.
Yes,
It
it does.
does. It does.
Sure does. And I'm
Uh,
always going to point that out whenever my wife and I are watching the movie, which I know she's heard me say that like a million times, but for some reason she still loves me. So
Yeah. Okay, so the reason we know that it loses a wheel is because for some reason when they were editing this movie, they felt like they had to show this car flipping over. Okay. Well, so the car flips over and then you see the moon buggy wheel roll in. They could have used that as a way uh to give Bond a reason to ditch the moon buggy,
yeah,
I think. But they probably wanted the comedic factor of the moon buggy driving away with nobody in it. So I don't know. I just when I was a kid watching that scene, I always thought that that wheel was from the car, but watching it this time, it's definitely from the moon buggy.
and
Like,
it's
yeah.
and it's not even hard to see that. It's like it's not one of those details where only the hardcore fans would see that.
No, it's
It,
pretty obvious. But
it's
I
obvious,
was
you
I
know.
was really stupid as a kid.
But it's just it
damn,
just amazes
Caleb.
me they left what.
I said, "Damn, Caleb, don't be so hard on yourself, man.
Yeah.
I haven't improved much in that regard.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that.
I
Oh
can't
no,
breathe."
I know you did. No, I know you didn't. I meant it like that. Like,
I got you. It just leaves the question that why didn't somebody fix that? I mean, my God,
yeah.
like
Well, there's really no way to cut it out back then. Like you couldn't
so.
digitally remove it.
They
You would
probably spent a lot of money ruining that car too.
no, they spent a lot of money on Sean. That's why the action scenes look terrible.
I mean, fair enough.
No, that's really why. Like they had to scale back their special effects budget, um, just to so they could pay Sean. And I wanted to point out one more thing. When that guy flips the three wheeler and he flips it back over and he's sitting there pulling on it, trying to get it to start. Well, yeah, he gets it started and he just sits there
Yeah,
waiting on Connery
waiting on
to
Connery.
kick him off. And I was like, there's a way to make this scene work. Just have the guy sit there and pull on it and
Yeah,
pull and pull and pull. And then Connery comes in, kicks him off. He gets on one pull and then takes off. You could have left the three wheeler running the whole time. Like you're adding sound in post anyway. It's not like Sean has to really start it with one pull. I don't know.
No, I agree. You,
I have a lot of issues with this whole scene. It sucks.
yeah,
This
that's
whole
too bad.
scene sucks.
You don't even need it because you already have the cool car chase
yes,
prior to this.
but like
Like,
I mean, like you're already getting a pretty badass, Ford Mustang car chase. But no, we got to somehow fit in a moon buggy and a three wheeler.
What is the point of the moon buggy? Why do they have a moon
I
set?
know. I've always thought the same thing. Like, why? I
Are
mean,
we are we supposed to think that Willard White funded the
moon
moon
landing.
landing hoax footage crap?
who knows?
Okay, well, if the reason is supposed to be, well, they're building a satellite, nobody has to go to space. Like, why do they have a moon simulation thing? I I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, But
There's
you
no
know,
amount of mental gymnastics that I can do to make that
yeah.
okay.
I will say this. I did like that Bond drove a three-wheeler in this.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, because
Yeah.
like three-wheelers were like, I remember them being around whenever I was a kid. You don't really see them much now, but
No, they're hard to come by now.
Yeah. I think it sets the time period really well.
yeah.
Oh,
I
at the
like it.
time, I bet that looked so cool to see Bond on that, but now it looks kind of goofy.
Yeah.
But,
I see your point.
so that brings us to the car chase. So Tiffany picks Bond up in the Ford Mustang Mach 1. And Caleb Mabry, you were showing off yours earlier.
Yeah, let me get some light. Actually, I think I can just get it from my monitor.
Don't worry, Caleb, I got you, man.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know how well this shows up because I've got a window pulled up in front of the
No, it
Zoom.
looks good. You can see the car pretty good when you hold it at an angle.
Yeah.
I like the paint.
hmm
Oh, dude, they even have the chrome around the windshield and the back glass accurate.
So I've actually seen that car in person.
Have you really?
Yeah, at the Bond in Motion exhibit in Los Angeles.
Ah, cool.
That's really cool, John.
The guy that owned it after it was in this movie spray painted the hood black, and it's still got that on it. It doesn't really look that good.
Hey,
But
what?
it's spray painted black, but the hood of the car is.
Like he
Okay,
didn't get it professionally done. He just
yeah,
rattled.
when you say spray paint, I think Rust-Oleum from
Yeah,
Walmart.
I mean, I'm not really sure how he did it, but
Okay,
I mean, it just don't look good on it. But
that's a shame.
But this is another fact that I always tell people about this movie. If you watch, you'll see a lot of Ford cars in this movie.
Oh yeah.
The Ford Motor Company literally told Eon Productions that they could use, I mean, unlimited amount of cars, for crashes and chases, as long as James Bond drove a Ford Mustang.
So I remember you telling me that in the past. Hadn't they tried to get him in a Mustang in a prior film at some point?
I don't know.
Yeah, that I don't know, but I will say this to add to what Jonathan said. So yeah, the deal was they could have basically all the cars as long as Bond was in a Mustang. What's funny about that is maybe it was the director or the second unit director, somebody on the production team took like a lot of joy in destroying all those guys. Because he hated American cars. I forgot who it was. Do you know this, Jonathan? Or
I don't.
okay, well, it was somebody like on the production team that. So I just thought it was funny that there was some like a guy that's a big part of the production loves destroying these cars, these American cars, and it's an American car company
Yeah.
making the film possible pretty much.
So also like in the credits, Ford has top billing above Aston Martin. Because Aston Martin is listed in the credits with this because the Aston Martin is in the movie for like 0.5 seconds.
Yeah.
So
Where?
In the Q scene.
Oh, is it on the lift?
Oh, it's behind him while they're moving missiles. It's the 69 DBS.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's the DDS from Majesty's.
Yeah, like the only reference to Majesty's.
Yes.
Well, there's another reference
that I know.
Maybe. Well, I meant to bring this up when we were talking about that scene. You remember, Jonathan, when Bond's getting briefed on the diamond smuggling operation?
Yeah.
He says something like, "I understand you've been on holiday."
Yeah.
And then M says something right before that scene ends. He says something like, "We do operate in your absence."
Yeah.
And I maybe that wasn't a reference to Majesty.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
It's kind of like the way I always took it was like a fourth wall breaking stunt a little bit, because Connery had been gone for a minute, so they were just like, oh, you've been on a vacation or whatever, I don't know though.
That is so smart. It was intended like that.
Well, yeah, it is, and it's also I think that is a lot more palatable than this never happened to the other fella.
Yeah.
That sort of fourth wall break.
Yeah.
So anyway, we can move on. I just wanted to mention that.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Caleb, for real.
Yeah.
I have to issue a retraction, boys. So
Retract it then.
in a recent video, I was confirmed saying that I hated James Bond driving the Mach 1 Mustang.
Yeah,
Which I did.
I remember that.
So I did hate it. But after going back and watching this movie this time, I thoroughly love the chase scene. And it makes sense why Sean Connery would drive a Mach 1 Mustang because of his build and the room that's in that car.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Also he sells it. Like the whole chase scene is great. I only have like one inconsistency problem with like whenever they're driving on two wheels and then like somehow he on the
whatever
other
could you
wheel.
be talking about? What happens?
Like how did the car go from being on these two wheels to these two wheels?
I have no clue what you're
that
talking
is
about.
like the goofiest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
How does that
it's
happen?
literally amazing.
That is a big screw up is what that is.
Yes.
I mean, it's simple as that. Like, okay, so the car entering the alley was shot on location.
Yeah.
And the car exiting the alley was shot on a set, probably
Yeah.
Pinewood Studios. And they just got maybe they had a miscommunication, but they just got the car coming out wrong. It's all it was.
It's just crazy. It's like, I mean, even as a kid watching this movie, I remember thinking, why does it do that? Like,
Well, I
It's
think
jarring.
so. The insert of them shifting sides that was added a lot later, right?
I think so.
So I don't know, man. Honestly, I think it's better without that
Yeah.
being in there because that kind of draws your attention to it more.
That's the only reason I noticed it was because like it shifts. I was like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
But
I
I
don't-
will say this: I just love seeing that Mustang get up on two wheels and just go right down that. Like, but
It's cool for the time. Like I don't have a problem with that. I was like, okay, I like it.
Well, that's
I like
another
the
thing.
that scene.
Yeah, I've heard this chase described as like boring or whatever, but this is really consistent with chase scenes in the 70s. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
I like it. I do. I really do like it.
I like it.
If you guys have ever seen the original Gone in 60 Seconds,
Yes.
that features the same car, that like I think that whole movie is a car chase. Honestly, I think it's a 2.5 hour car chase. But like if you like that movie and that sort of stuff, like you'll see that this is just I think it actually takes a lot of inspiration from that.
Yeah,
And what I really appreciate about this chase is the way it's shot. Like you get a lot of wide shots showing all the action, like especially in that parking lot, you get to see the cops going around and like you don't ever have a problem with knowing where everything is. Like I appreciate that.
yeah. I want to add to what you were saying, Caleb. You brought up a very just interesting thing because I thought it before myself. So have you ever played the video game Driver?
I thought the exact same thing here, man.
Like, did you ever play that game?
Yeah. That's why I was saying I thought the exact
Yeah.
same thing. Like I got a lot of Driver vibes from this.
And also I think it was maybe earlier this year or last year. I got into this little mood where I was watching like all the like classic car chase movies. Like I was watching Bullet. And,
man.
I was about to bring up Bullet.
Yeah.
I love Bullet.
I was watching Bullet and The Driver and French Connection. You know, all those classic car movies. You know, like I really do think them using the muscle car in this movie and it being I really do think they took some cues from Bullet and all them classic American muscle car chase movies. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the driving is substantially better than the ones that's come before it. Like it's stunt driving. It's way better. some of
Yes.
the other ones we've got. I really appreciated that.
Some of the close-ups of Bond and Tiffany are practical. Not all of them. You got some rear projection, but it looks okay here because it's at night.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it being at night does a lot of the heavy lifting for
Yeah.
those shots. But there are a few practical, like where the camera's attached to the car going down the actual highway,
Yeah.
close-ups that, I mean, they look so much better.
Yeah,
in
I'm
my
gonna have to
opinion.
be honest with you. Like, this is, to me, this is such a cool, like, just a cool time period. 1971, Las Vegas, nighttime. Bond's in America driving a Mustang. I mean, just I think it's an awesome setup. You know what I
This
mean?
is definitely a highlight of this movie.
Yes.
And
And I guess we even get Sheriff J.W. Pepper,
oh
like,
yeah,
like prototype version of him with
I,
this.
I was gonna say that too. Yeah. This version is a little more tame, like a little more
Yeah.
pulled back than what we get later. But man, if they had gotten the actor from Live and Let Die,
Yeah.
is that where he? Yeah, that's where he first appears.
We could have had a trilogy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like,
You
and
mean he doesn't come back after Man with a Golden Gun?
I think that's it.
Well, I'm
That's
not
it.
watching any more films then. You
They
just
just
ruined that for me.
Colton was like, That's the whole reason I got into the series.
This is the only reason I'm watching James Bond at all.
He's not even in the novels.
All right. So you want to know, like, a bizarre, like, obscure fact?
Sure.
Sheriff J.W. Pepper comes back in the video game 007 Racing.
Oh
Are you
man,
serious?
that is.
But yeah, it comes back and it's crazy. But anyway, we're getting a little bit off track as
Yeah.
usual. But
Well, it's interesting that you brought that up. I had that game as a kid.
yeah,
I I I guess it was just too hard for me
it's still too hard. I tried to play it like,
because I don't remember making it past the level where you're in the blue BMW from GoldenEye.
yes,
I got stuck on that level and I just set the controller down.
yeah, it's difficult.
Mhm.
But so where were we at, boys?
The I guess we could pick up right after the car chase.
Yeah,
Because I think we're pretty much done with that.
Sorry, I got to thinking about something else there for a second. But yeah,
007 Racing, man, it was a
007
great
Racing,
game.
man. Well, you started talking about Sheriff Pepper, so I had to. Anyway, and we'll be seeing him next time.
Oh yeah,
But so after this great chase we have, we can skip back to where we were at with Bambi and Thumper and Willard White. So they go to his door, and he comes down, and he's like, first thing he says is FBI, and then he's like CIA. You remember that?
yeah,
I always thought that was a funny scene.
yep. I didn't realize that Tommy guns were standard issue for the CIA. You see that guy in the background holding a Tommy gun? Yeah. I don't know really what you say about this scene. It's where they meet with the actual Willard White, and then from here forward, they sort of work together.
Yeah.
That I think this whole scene is just to set that up.
Yeah. And what about the way that they figure out where Blofeld's oil rig is? It's because they put a little, that map.
Yeah. What is?
Like,
Why would you do that?
Why would Blofeld go to the trouble of making a little thing, putting it down there?
Well, it's kind of like Goldfinger.
Yeah.
He made that model, and like we didn't even need that scene of him with all the goons. So
Exactly.
I think Goldfinger just wanted to show off his model in the same way that maybe Blofeld just wanted to have a detailed map.
I guess.
Yeah, that was pretty convenient.
But so that takes us to Baja, California,
Mm-hmm.
and we get Blofeld's oil rig, and Bond's using a weather balloon, right, to
Yeah.
infiltrate. the oil rig.
Did you
And
know? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
go ahead.
Originally, apparently, Bond was supposed to somehow attach the weather balloon that he was in is supposed to attach it to the sub,
Mm-hmm.
and that was supposed to be like the climactic
Yeah.
ending. And I guess, like I said earlier, they had to scale back the special effects budget, so maybe that is why we didn't get that. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting thing to point out. And I also want to say that, like, as the weather balloon is approaching the oil rig, the first thing I thought of, because it's been forever since I've seen this movie. It's not one that I go out of my way to watch. So as the weather balloon is approaching the oil rig, in my head I'm thinking, oh, please don't let that be James Bond in there. Like, please don't let this be the way that he gets to the oil rig. But
It is.
just taking the rest of the movie into consideration, I guess it's fine. I don't know. I just thought it was really goofy.
And he's pretty much caught right whenever he, gets
Mhm.
there, and he's taking a Blofeld. And I want to say this: there is a little bit of continuity with "You Only Live Twice," because I'm pretty sure there is like some in Blofeld's office on this oil rig.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's some like Japanese inspired stuff like on the wall
Oh,
behind him. And I'm pretty sure it was also in "You Only Live Twice" as well.
okay. I didn't. I guess I wasn't paying enough attention.
I just always thought that might be a cool little reference to,
Yeah, probably. I also kind of took that, like the opening shot that we get, like right after the gun barrel, where Bond throws that guy through um,
yeah,
the wall. I always kind of took that as like, maybe more of a tease.
yeah.
Like, you kind of like, it's kind of like their way of teasing like what you expect from this movie, like a revenge
Yeah.
movie. Like, maybe they were trying to subvert expectations. Like, okay, Bond's back in Japan. He's after Blofeld.
Well, this is really where you see what y'all been talking about throughout this, how it's just tonally, just
Yeah.
out of whack.
Hmm.
There's some hard edge scenes, and then there's some that are like literally comedy.
It's like,
I mean, it's just tone is all over the place throughout this movie.
yeah.
But so I will say one thing: the Bathos submarine, the little sub that Blofeld's in, I've seen that in person as well.
Oh, at the same event.
Yes,
That's really cool.
there was like 30 something Bond vehicles there, I believe.
Do you have? I'm sure you've got a lot of pictures from it.
Yeah.
Do you have like physical pictures?
I don't.
I'm not saying to show them right now, but like I think that would be a really interesting thing
Yeah, if I had any, I
yeah.
would. I really should do a video on that.
Yeah, or yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be in the podcast format.
Yeah.
It could just be its own video. I think that would be because I want to see them. Like, me
Yeah.
personally, I would like to see them.
Yeah, it was really cool. I actually, my stepdaughter and I both sat on one of the snowmobiles from Die Another Day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
it was really cool.
So was there like a lot of stuff that you could interact with? Because I imagine like,
No,
yeah, I imagine if like with the sub, for example, they probably didn't want you touching it.
and I will tell you one thing. I don't think that the octopus is on the sub in the movie, but in the sub in real life, there is an octopus that is a Spectre octopus symbol
Mm.
that's on the front of it.
Oh yeah, I don't. Yeah, that definitely wasn't in this.
Yeah, I don't think it's in the movie,
Hmm.
but there is one on it in real life. If you ever have a chance to go see that,
Oh man, that would be awesome.
Um, and not to get off here, but whenever we went and saw all this, it was when No Time to Die was coming out,
Okay.
and so we flew out to Los Angeles. My wife and all of our kids flew out to Los Angeles and went and saw No Time to Die on
Oh, cool.
at the Chinese theater.
Really? Oh
Yes,
wow,
it was awesome. But
that's awesome. So y'all just had a pretty much like a big James Bond themed
we did,
vacation, dude. That sounds so cool.
yeah. It was amazing, man. It was
Hmm.
great. And
Guys, I don't know how you guys would feel about doing this, but if you guys want to like take a weekend trip to a convention and do something like that together, I don't know how y'all's wives would feel about it or if they'd want to come, but
Oh,
I would be down.
yeah, I'm sure my wife would welcome it.
Yeah,
Like me
yeah.
getting out of the house. No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
No,
No, yeah, I would definitely try, like, want to try to do something like that.
yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
if y'all find somewhere close, like I'll have time next year if you guys want to do that. Like if there's one, like I think that would be cool. Definitely be cool for the podcast. We could do a whole episode on it.
Oh yeah, yeah, we should definitely vlog it.
Yeah, for sure.
We could finally incorporate the GoPros that I was talking about. Like we all three wear GoPros and take Blue Chew and
Do James Bond rolls around
All right.
corners.
all that other sponsory stuff that we don't have sponsors for.
Blue Chew.
But anyway, so Colton, we're talking about the oil rig. We're at pretty much the climax, I guess, of the movie.
Well, I think the oil rig's really cool for a location for like a final thing. Are we talking about the inside of the oil rig?
Anything.
Okay, so I think it doesn't look as good as most Bond layers or whatever, but like the action and stuff for the most part is pretty cool. I thought it's weird how dumb they make uh Tiffany Case here.
Yes.
Like they make her really dumb, and I really thought it was really odd how sexually charged Sean Connery sticking the cassette tape in her bikini bottoms is. Like not as like part of the movie. Like as part of the movie, it's fine. Like it's a James Bond thing to do, but it's really really weird in retrospect that like they would have that happen on a set. Not
Yeah.
for the time period probably, but it was just different. But she's really really stupid here. I think.
Yeah, like for as strong as she was whenever this movie began, it's just she's just pretty much just there now.
Yeah, it's sad. I think.
One thing I was talking about with Caleb, um, in Blofeld's office, did you notice any like Japanese stuff on the wall?
No. I didn't. I probably wasn't paying attention.
I'm pretty sure that there's some stuff that was on his office wall and You Only Live Twice that they put in this one too.
Well, that's pretty cool that they
Yeah, I just
a
thought
little bit of continuity. I don't know why they would at this point, honestly.
I mean, it's weird that they do stuff like that because like continuity is so like just nothing in the Bond world. Like,
It's just completely out the window here.
yeah. And I'm gonna be straight with you. Like this final fight is really it's kind of underwhelming, honestly. I never really I don't think it's a good final, big fight scene that we're used to.
So I wholeheartedly agree that it's not as great. Uh, like the explosions are particularly terrible.
Yeah.
But I will say the one thing that I hate the most about it is the 007 thing. Like it is absolutely terrible. Like I hate it just as much as Thunderball. Like I was ready to turn it off. I don't know why I hate it.
Man, just hit the mute button.
Well,
Like,
like they might say something that's important.
not in this scene, no. It's just
No,
Bond.
they
It's just
did,
Bond playing on a crane.
which
Wow.
I think is really really campy too. But what I'll say about the 007 thing is like it does the bump, and then like the slide whistle or whatever. It would not be as bad if it was
I
like
guess it is a slide whistle, isn't it?
it is so bad that it just repeats on loop.
I don't. Yeah, it's.
It drives me up the wall. And that's all I'll say about that. Like
You know,
when the movie was over, I was fine with it.
if there's like a serial killer out there or something, they know what to torture you with.
That's right.
Oh yeah. this would be the way to drive me into and committing the unspeakable.
Like if they needed information out of you for some reason, oh man, that'd be so easy to get. Just headphones and the 007 theme cranked all the way up. I think like within 2 seconds, okay, I'll tell you whatever.
I'll tell you whatever you need to know. Just make it stop.
And like we don't even have a real defeat scene of Blofeld here.
No.
It's just like Bond gets on the crane, drives the thing into the the wall a few times, then Bond gets off the crane and jumps off, and everything's good. We never
This is so stupid. Like, there's all this stuff going on, and Bond's like, "Ooh, I'm just gonna have fun with Blofeld and toy with him." Like, dude, just kill him and get like if you have to kill him and get it over with because there's shit blowing up and bullets flying everywhere.
I'll say the helicopters are cool, but the explosions are terrible. And like with as many explosions as they had going on, the rig would just be eviscerated. Like they would have died.
Yeah, I think so. Like, and you'd have debris falling, like because the helicopter's exploding. You'd have all that stuff. So,
What was with John? With not John. Sorry, John. What was with Bond diving in the water?
the rig was fixed to explode.
No. I'm talking about like the action of it. Like it looks like Connery actually dives, and then they cut to somebody actually diving in the water. Like I feel like Sean jumped off onto like probably a balloon or something, and then they cut to probably a stunt diver actually diving into the water.
Yeah. What are you asking?
Like
or is it just?
Like it just looks weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a stunt double.
Oh yeah,
I mean, yeah,
like it looks like Sean jumping off, and then like a stunt double actually died.
yeah. It's Sean jumping onto probably an airbag or
Yeah.
a cushion of something. Like the actual uh fall, like for him on set was probably like
5 foot.
4 or 5 foot, and then they cut to a professional Olympic diver probably jumping off. So yeah.
I thought it was like it was definitely not as smooth as the "You Only Live Twice"
No.
scene.
Nope.
and of course then we get them getting on a cruise ship, go on a cruise back to England, and of course who follows them? Our boys Wint and Kid. So what do you think about this last scene?
Like I could buy the whole food thing, but the cake bomb was like really Adam West Batman-y, I guess.
Well, I thought too.
It's pretty bad.
Yep.
Honestly. And like I don't think you got enough emotion out of you didn't get enough emotion out of the one fella watching his lover be set on fire.
Yeah.
Like I would have just quit trying to kill James Bond at that point and went and saved my love interest.
Yeah.
I think. Like
well,
bad.
Yeah, but I mean we're supposed to.
Well, I get it. I'm just saying, like, if that was me and my wife.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, if that was like a normal part.
It is really crazy how he just gets set on fire like so quick, like.
Which that's got to be terrifying. I don't know how they did. Like that's actual fire. Like that's like a person with like a flame retardant, like jelly or some kind of whatever over them.
I think it was the actual actor when his
looks like him.
When his arms initially got caught on fire, and then I think it shows a shot of Bond and was it Mr. Wint, whatever. Like shows them, and then it cuts back to the stunt double on fire. Yeah. Dude, I would be so scared to do that.
Yes.
It would be absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, I don't care how fire repellent the suit is and the gel that they put on you. I'm out. I'm not, yeah.
I mean, it would be so quick for you to get, like, horribly disfigured.
Oh, right, yeah.
I mean, it would be, I don't think it's enough of a risk worth the gamble, honestly.
No. especially now that we got CGI.
Oh yeah.
That's the way, like I'll always take practical over CGI. Um, but when it comes to that, you can CGI all you want.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I think I'm glad they went practical there because the CGI they used in this movie was dog shit. Like it was,
Dude,
it was so bad.
the first explosion with the helicopter. When you remember when the Winton kid when they blow up that helicopter,
Yeah,
like instead of the diamonds they give him a bomb. If that explosion looked okay, it didn't look good. It was clearly composited in,
yeah,
but it looked okay. In the final battle sequence, when those helicopters explode, it looks like somebody went in Microsoft Paint and just and put like red circles over the helicopters to imply that they've blown up.
Yes.
it's like they were blown up in post as an after effect. Like it didn't happen in the movie. They're like, there's not enough shit happening right here. We really need to just blow some of these helicopters up.
Oh, so like you're saying, oh man, we got all these shots of the helicopters, but I mean we've already shown them flying by like 6 times. What can we do? I just paste a explosion over them. I'm sure it'll be fine.
That's
Yeah.
what it looks like.
Yeah.
That really is bad. I know exactly what y'all are talking about.
Oh, hey, since we went back to the scene real quick, Jonathan, you said something about how the big battle sequence felt a little underwhelming to you. Did you know that a big explosion sequence was not captured on film because they were doing a rehearsal take, and maybe they were basically running through the whole scene minus the explosions. The pyrotechnics team misunderstood that, set off all the explosions, and I don't think they got any of it on camera. They might have got some, but yeah, that might be a big part as to why it doesn't feel as climactic to you.
That's a lot of money wasted.
Yeah, it really. Oh man, I'd be sick.
So
Somebody definitely got fired, I'm sure.
as a whole, guys, like Diamonds Are Forever. So like as I said, it was always one that was low, really low. But I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's I mean, I'm not going to say it's top 5 at all. Probably not even top 10. To be straight with you. But I do like Old Diamonds.
So I would probably give Diamonds a 2.
Oh wow.
Like out of 5. I do like out of 5.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a 2. It's a 2 out of 5 for me. And in comparison to Thunderball is like a 1.5.
Oh shit. Oh wow.
So out of 5. So like there, I assume every Bond is going to have films that aren't great, especially if they've played them more than 4 times.
Yeah.
These movies, I'm glad Sean came back. Glad we have him. Like I'll probably rewatch this movie. I don't hate this movie. I think there are better Bond films to come.
Yes.
Uh, Overall, like this movie is what it is for me. Like, not saying it, I hate it. I'm just saying like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not here saying it's some like lost, gem or anything like that. I mean, but like, I mean, it is what it is.
I don't think you are, John.
Yeah. Like
I'm just saying like, I think it's gonna be a long time before I'm the point like I'm just gonna wake up and be like, man, I have got to watch Diamonds Are Forever today. I want to see that Mustang chase it. It's gonna be a long time before that hits me. Like there's a long list of movies I would watch before this one, I think.
Yeah. All right. I understand.
What, Caleb?
I really agree with a lot of that. Here's what I'll say. I think it's the perfect movie. Like if you want a Bond movie that you just put on in the background, like say you're
Yes.
cleaning the house and you
Yep.
want something that you can just glance at every once in a while, it's good for that. I think, because
I
it
agree.
doesn't. As a matter of fact, it might be a better movie if you don't pay as close attention to it.
Yes.
Uh,
That makes a lot of sense.
And I mean, we didn't even get into any of the plot holes of this movie, and that's fine because we would be sitting here for
5
12
hours.
minutes.
well, okay. We don't have to go into all of them. What is the biggest in your opinion, Jonathan?
So one thing that the movie leaves out, and I don't know if you guys have watched the deleted scenes for this movie on the discs, but
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Mm.
the whole finding Plenty O'Toole in the pool, that scene.
Mm-hmm.
See, like, there's nothing that like even explains that at all in the movie. But like, there's a deleted scene of, remember whenever she gets thrown out of the hotel room?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a deleted scene of her going back up there and going through Tiffany Case's stuff and finding her address. And then
Yeah.
I guess she goes over there because I guess she was going to confront her about, taking Bond from her, I guess. I don't know. But she goes over there and I guess they kill her thinking that she's Tiffany Case.
That I don't buy. Like, I don't know why. I think it would have been better if obviously leave that scene in that you were just talking about, the deleted scene, so it'll like we'll know why or how she even got there, but just have them kill her
Yeah.
just because I mean they would.
Yeah.
But yeah, they at the very least they should have let that scene in there.
And
I just assumed that she was killed because she had loose ties to Bond. Like that's all I got. Like she was seen with Bond, they
Okay.
killed
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of like,
something
speaking
else.
of,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Colton.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, speaking of things that kind of, this isn't really an inconsistency, but this is the thing that drags the movie down for me. You have, of course, Blofeld and Drag, which is funny. It's really funny, and like it serves its purpose. But man, his jawline makes for an ugly lady.
Yeah.
And what is up with the gorilla scene? Like we didn't talk about that. Like, how does that lady turn into a big old suited gorilla? Like, what does that culturally mean? Like, why is that in the movie?
Yeah. Like, I don't really know why they deemed that necessary to be put into the movie.
Man, this whole like maybe it's not just this one sequence, but this just feels like a big commercial for Las Vegas
Yes.
to me. Like, I don't know. That's another one of the things that kind of made me wish that this wasn't like the main location. Just I don't know. It just seems like they were trying to sell you a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. And
They've done a better job selling me other locales. Like
They have convinced me to buy a Sony laptop more than they've convinced me to go to Las Vegas.
or Sony walkie talkies later on.
Yeah.
So I will say the plot of the movie, Bond trying to track down, trying to take on a smuggling ring, but pretty much kind of just blindly landing on Blofeld's scheme to use a diamond powered laser to basically, like auction off to the highest bidder, like I like it. I mean, I dig it. I mean, it's like fantastical, 70s campy stuff, almost Austin Powers territory. But I mean, hey, I buy it for what Diamonds Are Forever is. Hey, I'm cool with it.
I didn't get how the cassette tape controlled it.
I think it's just got commands in it, and that's so for the I think for the satellite to get to certain destinations or to aim at certain targets, that like the tape is where it gets the data from
So it's like
to maneuver.
programmed
Yeah, it's kind of like
instructions.
But pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And I could be way off base, but
No,
that's
it makes more sense to me.
okay.
I guess I'm just thinking of like how little data would be on a cassette tape.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like I don't know.
Well,
It's
it's go ahead.
like like I don't know. Like headcanon would be like somebody's got to flip the tape, right?
To side B.
Yeah. Like
That's how it gets back to Earth. They flip it over, and
yeah,
it just reads
that
the
makes
tape
more sense.
backwards.
So there might be people that listen to this that don't know what the hell a cassette tape is other than seeing it in this movie. So,
Yep.
I don't know.
I've usually got stuff like within reach. As example, like last week, I think I had a pen. I don't have a cassette tape in this house.
I have Metallica's Black Album on cassette somewhere.
Oh, that's cool.
Like it's somewhere. Like I don't know if it's in here
Yeah,
or in my red truck. I don't know. But I got it somewhere. But that's
cool.
the only cassette I own.
Not really
I,
relevant to Bond, but I would like to see it. I think you should bring it on the show sometime.
Yeah.
okay. If I can find it, I definitely will.
But but I mean, for all its faults, I mean, I do dig this movie. I mean, like I said, it's not. I mean, it's not top 10 for me. But and I used to hate it. I used to think this was just the lowest. Which I mean, I guess this probably is the lowest point. This is one of the lowest points of the franchise. I'll probably be straight with you on that one. But I like this movie. And even though I think Connery looks better in Never Say Never Again than I do here. I I think Connery looks. I just don't think he looks anywhere as good as he did before. But hey, I think everything gels together surprisingly good, and it's just been one big fun sleazy ride, and that's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah. So I agree with the whole fun. It was fun to watch.
Yeah,
You and Caleb are right. Like I didn't hate watching this movie. It's just like it's like I expected better from Sean, if that makes sense. I expect like it's like I'm a little disappointed. Like, come on, Sean, you could have.
Dude, no, Sean was there for a paycheck. That's
Yeah,
it.
I get it, and I get it because the situation that happened behind it and everything that went on. I'm not disappointed he did the movie. I'm just disappointed this was the end result. And like I said, like I like the movie for what it is. I take it. I take it at face value, and I will revisit it in the future. I'm just like I want better, so I think I've just got to come to terms with that. Like again, I like it more than Thunderball. Like I will say I like all of Connery's films. It's just this one doesn't have the rewatchability as some of the better ones.
But yeah, like I said, it's not one that you go out of your way to watch, and maybe it is for you, Jonathan. I don't know.
well, I mean, it's not really going out of the way, but it's just like like if I'm just chilling, and like you said, Caleb, background music. I mean, background noise. If like if I got a night where I'm not working or and my stepdaughter wants to watch a Bond movie, this is one
Yeah.
that I'd put on. I think movies like this have a better like. I don't know. It's just a little bit easier to watch than like say No Time to Die, which I like that movie, but it's like you
Well,
remember all
yeah.
sorts of different stuff, like
That's kind of what I was saying earlier. Like this movie doesn't require you to be emotionally invested for you to enjoy it. Um, and this is like a common thing with me in these shows. But this movie is a lot better than I remembered. I'm like you, Jonathan. I used to hate this
yeah.
movie. I mean, like I wouldn't even put it on in the background. Like I just there was nothing about it that I liked.
Yeah.
Man, I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't have a lot of fun watching this. And I think a lot of that has to do with how Connery plays Bond in this movie. He's just
I agree.
he's really like he seems like he's really loose. He's just kind of I don't know, like go with the flow. Seems like. And you already said this. This movie has. Yeah, we can make a whole episode dedicated to the issues like plot wise, production wise, whatever. But I think it earned its place in the franchise, and I'm not going to give it a numerical rating just because of how inconsistent I am with them. But I'll just say it was a fun watch. I had a good time watching it.
I got you. Well, so next week, Live and Let Die. We get Bond in America again.
Mm-hmm. That's twice in a row, ain't it? I never really realized that.
So both of y'all have. Well, I mean, I know you have, Caleb, and Colton. You watched it the other day, right? Because you were.
So I have watched this one at this point. I finally watched a Moore film, guys.
What'd you think? What's your first impression?
I like it. Like
Cool.
I think. Okay, so I've read in the past. I've read like 80% of Live and Let Die before my hold lapsed on it,
Okay.
and so I knew part of what was going on. I really enjoyed seeing a lot of stuff in this movie. Overall it was a really enjoyable experience. Like it was way better than Diamonds for me. Like I like the movie. Like I'm gonna just spoilers for next episode. I'm not gonna be hating on the movie very much.
Yeah,
There are parts I'll hate on.
I love Live and Let Die. Well, if that's all you gentlemen got to say, I guess we can sign off. Is that, or do you guys have anything else to add?
I don't think so. Like as much as this movie has problems, it's not to say that they didn't bother me. I guess it's just easier to forgive them because this movie is not taking itself seriously at all.
At all.
Yeah.
I guess I would say that while I am disappointed with this movie, I think it's just the fact that this is the last of Sean's official tenure. So it's kind of a down note for me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I would like for him to have went out in like a bigger and better way. Just something just at the end of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, I was like, damn.
Yep.
And for me to finish this movie and not be like, damn, I'm like,
Uh-oh.
damn, you know? That's the way I'm kind of.
You lagged for me for a second. I'm sorry. It might not have on Jonathan's end.
It did.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is like for this movie to have ended like instead of like being like damn with On Her Majesty's Secret Service, like I was just like, wow, this movie was just like, man.
Yeah, it is disappointing when you think of it in terms like that. Like it doesn't give Connery a good send off.
No,
at all.
I think that's what hurts me the most about it, and like, it's just a sad goodbye for me.
But what helps me with that is Connery didn't care.
Yeah.
No, he just wanted the money. So you're right.
He doesn't care anything about a good send off.
Well, it's a sad goodbye to Connery, but it's a very happy hello to Sir Roger Moore. And I'm a fan of Sir Roger.
He's winning me over a little bit.
Oh yeah, he'll win you over. But well, all right, fellas. I guess we're gonna go ahead and sign off. So, Jonathan Lonham,
Colton Flat,
Caleb Casino Royale Parody Mabry,
Colton Laggy Flat.
You are really laggy this episode.
I don't know what's going on, guys.
Well, all right, fellas. I will see you next week for Live and Let Die. Adios.
I'm excited for that. Adios.
Thank you for joining us on episode 7, Diamonds Are Forever.